When deciding whether or not an attraction is autistic friendly at a theme park, I usually have a few checkpoints. Is the ride quiet? Are there any extreme movements? Is the ride supposed to be scary? While there are plenty of classic rides that fit this criteria, one ride stands out to me as the prime example of this at Disney's California Adventure, and it's all about flying with the wind above iconic landmarks. Salutations, adventurers, and welcome to Caddy's Adventure Diary. My name is Caddy, I am autistic, and I love theme parks. I am so excited today to be talking about one of my favorite rides, Soarin'. Originally an opening day attraction with Disney's California Adventure back in 2001, the ride opened as Soarin' Over California before being rethemed to Soarin' Around the World in 2016. Regardless of the version you ride, Soarin' is a flight simulator that takes you on peaceful flights above major landmarks, all while you sit back in your seat and enjoy the flight. Now, most of the year, Soarin' takes you on a flight above locations like the Eiffel Tower and the Great Wall of China. But in March during DCA's Food and Wine Festival, something special happens. The original Soarin' Over California returns for fans to enjoy. The annual return of Soarin' Over California is my favorite part of the Food and Wine Festival, and it is the major time of year that I am willing to brave the lines in order to ride. And that's because besides the nostalgia of riding the California version, I am willing to wait in massive lines for Soarin' for one reason. Soarin' may just be one of, if not the most autistic-friendly attraction in all of Disney's California Adventure. And here's why. Chalks away, adventurers. Let's take off for the next adventure. Soarin's ride building isn't too difficult to spot. I mean, look at it. It's a massive green airplane hangar. The front entrance of the queue isn't actually the front door of the building. Instead, the queue starts at a gate to the left of the main building. Now, to me, the hardest part of Soarin' is nothing on the ride itself, but rather this outdoor queue section. Soarin' has one of the lowest ride capacities in the park. While the theaters on average can seat about 90 riders, each individual ride lasts 5 minutes, and they run 2 theaters, usually around the same time, so that's about 180 riders riding the attraction every 5 minutes or so. But before every flight, they have to load people up and then unload them to get the next group in. This means that Soarin's wait time just goes through the roof, and if you arrive later in the day, you're going to be stuck outside with the hot sun, monorail driving above you, and of course, the dreaded switchbacks. My best piece of advice for this section is to make sure that you have something to keep yourself occupied in this outdoor section. My Kindle was really useful to read in line, but I also had my fidget toys. This outdoor queue is really the only part you have to keep yourself from going a bit crazy, and your best solution is to just have something to do. This becomes less of a problem once you get inside the main queue. One awesome thing about being in California is that we have a huge influence on aviation history. So the inside queue is this sprawling museum of aviation history. This queue still gives me a sense of awe walking through it. From looking up at the banners of several major airplanes to seeing the portraits of aviation legends from Amelia Earhart to Catherine Chung, I become enraptured by California's incredible contributions to people getting to fly. The museum portion also stands out to me as the most spacious part of the queue. You are basically just surrounded by all these incredible aviation artifacts and legends in this giant airplane dome. And when you look up, you feel like you're staring into the clouds, just like these legends did once before. But of course, the queue doesn't stay like this forever. Once your group is sent down one of 2 corridors, you find yourself in a somewhat more claustrophobic hallway. Now, because Soarin' is ADA compliant, these hallways are not too cramped. But when most of the line sits on only half of the hallway, you feel way more squished. Some things in the queue that help you keep calm include the peaceful melody of the queue's main music. You see, Soarin' plays this beautiful combination of original scores and music from various aviation films. And the music combined with Soarin's incredible air conditioning make sure that you are plenty comfortable while you wait. Unless you did what my cousin and I did back when we were, 7 years old? Where we basically played in the water play area at Bugsland and then went on Soarin'. We were just chilly the whole time. That said, even if after hearing all this you still don't want to be stuck in the line during your wait, I highly recommend using the Disability Access Service for Soarin'. Because when you use the DAS, at your return time, you're just escorted down this ramp directly to the pre-show concourse, so you don't get stuck too long in these hallways or outside. Otherwise, you have to rely on your play objects to keep yourself focused. When you arrive at the pre-show concourse, you're split into one of the 3 rows. These rows correspond to the exact vehicle that you will be riding once you are on the attraction. A small safety video, hosted by the voice of my childhood, Patrick Warburton, goes over the basic safety instructions of the ride. The video, of course, throws in a bit of important information that I think anyone should know. This ride is a flying simulator, and one that actually takes you into the air. If you or the autistic adventurer in your group has a fear of flying or of heights, the video highly recommends that you wait for your party at the arrival gate.
Soon you will be airborne. So if you or your little wave eaters have a fear of flying or of heights, you might want to wait for your party at the arrival gate.
Honestly, while the ride's high-flying experience isn't a stressful one, I do understand if it may be too much for someone with acrophobia. Therefore, if you do need to leave the attraction early, just ask a cast member and they will guide you out towards the nearest exit. For everyone else, it's time to fly. Once our row is called, you follow the cast member to your seat. There you can set your adventure bag underneath your seat, sit down, and buckle your seatbelt in the really spacious and comfy ride seats. We wait for the cast members to do their final checks, and the ride just broke down, which is a good time to mention how to handle breakdown procedures. Drat. Well, breakdowns on rides, while not commonplace, do happen. There are things we can do, though, to better handle these things, as Past Me will now explain. If the ride breaks down before you get started and you're already here on the ride like we are on Soarin', they will give you something like a boarding pass, or they will give you something so that you can come back later and try again.
We'll get to you guys in a second. You just hold the experience passes. We'll get you all situated.
Thank you.
I seem to be stuck. So we were just informed that the boarding passes we get are not just good for the Lightning Lane here on Soarin', they are also good for any other attraction, both here at Disneyland and at DCA. There are just certain attractions where they will not allow you to use it, but right now, it seems like there's a good variety of options. So now, even though I'm unbuckled and I have my bag in hand now, we still have to wait for the cast members to clear us. This is because they're going to give us the boarding passes. They need to make sure that everything's safe. And again, the best we can do is just remain calm. If you do need to leave the attraction earlier and you can do it, it's easy to call a cast member over and ask them for help. Otherwise, everyone's pretty much good to go, and they're just waiting to clear the groups one at a time. And then once that happens, they'll just let us off, and we'll be A-okay. That's all we need to do. These moments can be a bit tense, especially if you're stuck in one place for too long. But in reality, it's not that tricky. Especially if the attraction you're broken down on is like, say, Soarin', like we are right now. Where this is broken down, but we've got peaceful music, really nice cozy seats. So really just listen for the cast members, stay relaxed, and just remain chill when attractions break down, okay? That's all we can do. Okay, Soarin' Over California, take 2. The following week, I decided to brave Soarin's lines once more, and this time we managed to get airborne. And once that happened, it was magical. Soarin's flight feels less like a frantic high-speed battle, but more like a gentle, slow-speed journey. You feel like you're lighter than air, as if flying was as easy as walking. All of this while you're sitting in the comfiest ride vehicle seats in the whole park, It's like flying while sitting on a nice lawn chair. Soarin' Over California takes you past several of California's most iconic landmarks, from the Golden Gate Bridge to Yosemite Falls to Malibu Beach. All the while, you are hit with all sorts of smells and sounds set to the most epic attraction score on a Disney ride. One of my favorite parts is the orange groves. Besides the beautiful sight of the green fields, you are hit with just this wonderful smell of oranges. At the end of the ride, we fly over Disneyland Park before Tinkerbell starts up the fireworks. We watch the grand finale up close, and then we are returned to the ground safely. We grab our stuff, walk out of the theater, and then head back out to DCA. Soarin' is far from an intense thrill experience. If anything, this ride hits all three of my major criteria for an autism-friendly attraction. The ride is a fairly quiet experience. There are the occasional loud noises like the music crescendoing or the occasional loud sound effect. The loudest portion for me is the fireworks finale because, well, you're face first in a fireworks display. This finale is in both the California and world versions of the ride, so you do have to know about this ending. Also, California has a moment where 3 jets do a flyby, and you are hit with a mock sonic boom. Therefore, if you need noise-canceling headphones or earplugs, definitely wear them on this ride. But I feel like you will need them less than if you were doing something like Star Tours. Also, the ride doesn't have any intense movements. Now, despite looking like you're moving forward, you're really just staying in the same spot the whole time. Imagineer Mark Sumner designed this whole ride using Meccano. Oh, wait, American, so a Rector set. Soarin' is actually a giant winch that lifts all the seats up into the air. Meanwhile, the seats have a bit of swing, allowing them to tilt up and down to give the illusion of lift and drop. It's such a simple yet effective system, and also a good reason to still keep some of your toys around. I mean, I definitely do. With that in mind, if you or the autistic adventurer in your group suffers from motion sickness, the fact that the screen does most of the movement may be disorienting. However, I can say that the movements on this ride are very slight. You just move so slowly, and the ride vehicles do a good job of keeping up with the film's movements. This is far from a teacup ride in terms of whipping you around. These two factors work well together because Soarin' isn't supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be soothing. Flying on Soarin' is more Peter Pan than Superman. When you can hop on the ride, it's the perfect way to wind down your day. For 5 blissful minutes, you just sit still, feel the wind on your face, and look around at all the sights California and the wider world have to offer. You don't feel like you're going to fall because you feel just lighter than air. Soarin' at Disney's California Adventure seems like it was designed with neurodivergence in mind. Despite the high wait times and the long lines, the experience is designed for comfort more than high-octane thrills. The grand inspirational score combined with a simple yet incredible ride system means that you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. Even though I reviewed the limited time return of the California version, Soarin' Around the World isn't that different in terms of an experience. You get some more grand sweeping images on the world, but the ride itself does not change at all. No matter if you are traveling around the world or not even leaving the state of California, you are always guaranteed the ultimate autistic friendly experience at Disney. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel because that lets me know that I'm giving advice that is helpful. Links for the stuff mentioned in this video are once again in the description below, along with my socials and official website, where I have extended vlogs and other content. Also, please leave a comment below if you have any questions you want me to answer or any suggestions for future diary entries. Stay tuned for ASD advice from a special guest character. And until the next adventure, remember, when you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person. Farewell! Hey everyone, I just want to let you know something real quickly. You may notice some other logos on the back of my sign now, and you may also notice some interesting new links inside the description below. That's because I am now partnering with Goodwill of Orange County. They are now going to be working with me to help with developing my set a bit more and even doing some other stuff. We'll cover this more in future videos, but until now, I just want to say thank you to Goodwill OC and just keep an eye out for how this changes in the future.
I also like seeing you, Jasmine.
That's so kind of you. Thank you.
I do sort of adventures and stuff for people who are a little more nervous about meeting people, and
that's
even
okay.
coming out to this event, it was hard for me to approach meeting new people. So do you have any tips for anyone?
For ones that are a little shy or nervous?
Yes.
Well, I would say Carpet was really, really nervous before Aladdin went into the Cave of Wonders whenever he would see new ones. So I think the best thing here, for Disneyland at least, when you're feeling a little bit shy, dress up like your favorite character, and that always helps you find friends because people always mention it.
Oh,
And at
thank
Disneyland, you can always wear a fun outfit.
thank you so much.
Caddy's Adventure Diary.